torture, restraint and solitary confinement. To some, the act of institutionalization is itself a form of restraint and solitary confinement from the free world, often with no crime committed. In the 1844 report to the New York State Assembly printed in the asylum manager logs, it was written,
"In conveying a patient to the asylum, let it be done by force rather than deception."
While the original attempts of the Utica Asylum may have sounded to be pastoral and warm in nature, there was little dispute that this was a place one would be against one's will. The warnings in the Journal of Insanity to not replicate the asylum model found in Europe were not heeded or reflected in the asylum manager log's annual report to the New York State Legislature in 1844. What was recorded included some great insights about the needs of the asylum that were realized after operation commenced. The manager's requests for support included the need for access to water from the Erie Canal, which a decade later, when the asylum was set ablaze by William Spears, would prove fatal for not having been met. The manager's report also reported needing a heating system. Most telling, though, was the request for supports for rooms
for the most noisy and violent patients.
This point was hit home to the legislature, as part of the goal of the report was to acquire more resources to further develop the building. The managers wrote,
"It is also desirable that other accommodations for the more noisy and violent class of patients should be provided. That class are now placed in the basement of the present building, where we have fitted rooms that are entirely comfortable, but it is found that they disturb and annoy by their noise those in the halls above. The present building was originally intended for only the convalescent, a class who are comparatively orderly and quiet. All well-organized hospitals for the insane have separate accommodations for the noisy and violent class, and so far removed as not to disturb those who are quiet."
In the preceding paragraph in the report, the managers wrote,
"The washing and ironing is done in the basement of the center part of the present building, but the rooms used for that purpose are too small and badly lighted, and we are fully convinced that both the health and comfort of the inmates above require that the washing for so large a family should be removed to a place without the present building."
The asylum's managers were asking the New York State Legislature for tax dollars to create new institutions on the grounds of the Utica State Lunatic Asylum campus for the noisy and violent class of patients. The managers wanted the noisy and violent class of patients to be moved out of the asylum, along with the laundry. The managers argued the rooms in the basement were too small and badly lighted for the use of laundry, but in the basement of the same building they fitted rooms that are entirely comfortable for the noisy and violent class of patients, who they still wanted to move elsewhere. As early as the 1843 report, there were statements to the legislature about the use of the basement as a storage place for inmates.
"The basement of the wing serves for storerooms and hot air furnaces, and a small part of the extremity has been properly fitted up for temporary accommodation of a few of the most violent and noisy patients."
The experiences of those forced into commitment in asylums rarely are published. Phoebe Davis, who had been an inmate at the Utica State Lunatic Asylum, published in 1855 about her experiences confined to hall number 12.
"There is a hall in that house away off by itself, which they call number 12, and in which there are 6 cells. When a patient gets there, I believe it is considered the greatest punishment allowable. But they went 1 degree further with me. I was sent to the hospital water closet, and received my meals in bed there."
Davis wrote about being locked in a water closet for 3 days and was forced to take her meals there. The asylum manager logs state,
"The water closets and washing and bathing rooms, from long use and decay, absolutely require thorough renovation, at a considerable expense. This improvement cannot be longer delayed with propriety."
This is Mental American Monster, the Sprawl of American Psychiatry. www.mentalamericanmonster.org